Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. So in this video we're taking a look at an item which has been a little bit controversial online. Obviously if you've seen my community tab you will know what it is. I don't have any experience with Lionel's products, either their electric train sets or their battery powered sets. So this is going to be a bit of a first for me, but in this video we are taking a look at this one here, which I'm showing you the back of the box now. You can see it's quite large. It is the brand new battery powered, I mean if you can hear me, over the size of the box, battery powered all engines go Thomas set. This is the latest installment in this line of O gauge battery powered engines. They previously did a Thomas in a CGI style like this. They've also done like Harry Potter and Christmas trains and Frozen and all kinds of things in this same style. So this is the first time I'm taking a look at it and I'm very excited because, spoiler alert, this may be the best all engines go Thomas model we've seen today. So, what are you waiting for? Let's do it. You can see this box is much too large to fit on my review station, i.e. my desk. That is what it looks like on the front. Quite impressive. That's what it looks like on the side. Pause if you want to read anything that's included, because we're obviously going to have a look at all of that. We've got some of the languages. That's what it looks like on the back. Again, noting that I understand this has points which the version that is the CGI Thomas does not have. I'm sure someone will correct me if that's wrong. We've got the all engines go on the side there. No diesel again. And then the top is just a picture of what is included. And the bottom is another picture of Thomas on the track. So very impressive box. For some reason it came packed in two boxes, the Amazon box and then also another box and then this box. Don't know what's going on there. But yes, quite a big set, very, very meaty, which is good because this came at quite a price, which we'll talk about towards the end. But otherwise, what are we waiting for? Let's crack it open and see what this Thomas looks like. It is Dimmy from the future here. I have discovered something which I'm not going to go back and reshoot the entire video because otherwise this review is going to be even later than it already is. But as I was doing the post-production of this video, I realized that the reason that I hadn't seen this Thomas before and the reason that I hadn't seen any previous sets of this much track is because the previous version of the Lionel Ready to Run Thomas and also the Mickey Mouse and Hogwarts Express and all the other ones that I was thinking of, they are all G-gauge ready-to-run trains that have G-gauge plastic track, and that has all the expansion packs. So in the conclusion section of this video, where I talk about, oh, you've got interoperability between all the other different engines, the reason I assumed that was because the instructions refer to a general engine, which is like, you know, your American 440 tender engine, which is what is in the G-scale line, and it also has a picture of a diesel locomotive and then also has Thomas. So I immediately assumed, oh yeah, they must all be O-scale. No, this is, as far as I understand it, the first in what seems like it's going to be a series of ready-to-run O-scale trains, whereas the current Lionel, or I suppose previous Lionel, ready-to-run trains are actually G-scale. So I think that's perhaps where some of the confusion lies. There may also be other O-scale engines floating around. I was getting very confused online. So apologies in advance when I make references to the other sets that are O-scale. The ones I'm referring to are the G-scale ones, but perhaps there are O-scale ones that I just can't find. And anyway, it doesn't change my review in terms of my recommendation of this product, which you will see if you stick around for the end. But I did want to point this out now because otherwise people in the comments will be saying, oh no, so sorry, my bad. Anyway, on with the video. There is so much in this box. We can do it bit by bit. But let's first start with the most important part. That's Thomas here. He is in all his glory. I've left this little note on. It says something about the steam funnel function, but you know what? Sounds like a later problem. Okay. Let's do the spin before I start yapping. Okay, wow. Wow. I don't know what else to say about this. This, I think, is probably my favorite rendition of All Engines Go Thomas that I've touched or seen in the flesh so far. It is so awesome. Let's take a look first at the face. This is a fantastic All Engines Go face. I don't know whether mine is perhaps a tiny bit misprinted because you can see here the eyes are just a little bit lower than at the top, and then some of the blue is on his cheeks there, but that's fine. Yes, it's got that mini style printing for the face. But yes, a fantastic face. You can see we've got the light here. I think that might actually work, but we'll find out. We've got the couplings here and the buffers. A little bit of a scuff on his buffers, which is a bit unfortunate. But otherwise, we've got all the right Thomas details. Detailing along the side. We don't have any coal in the bunker, but we've got the black at least. We've got the 2 whistles here, which seem to be able to rotate all over on their own. This is something which is a bit weird to me. They seem to have really leaned into in a lot of merchandise the fact that his whistles are like this far on either side. I don't think they actually are. I think they're much closer to the middle, but it seems to be that the merchandise has... and if I can get an example, I think they're much more like this. But I think it seems to be the merchandise has leaned into the weird whistle placement, so... That's probably the only thing about him I would say I don't like, is that it's weird that they're right on the side. But I appreciate in some angles of the show, it kind of looks like that's where they are. Anyway, we've got the slanted funnel, we've got the big cab, we've got the wheels have the detailing, which looks really, really cool. Very happy about that. First 2 wheels are just freewheeling. The last one has traction tires and is fixed, so I assume that is the driving wheel. And then we've got a little like fake knuckle coupler here. It doesn't actually move. In terms of the mechanism, I assume it will just be a slide situation where you just slide them into each other by the looks of things. But yeah, this is very, very impressive. It's very substantial. It's quite heavy in terms of size. Kind of hinted to that earlier. You can see this is what it looks like next to a push-along Thomas, so quite a bit larger. This is my Nendroid Thomas here. Quite a bit larger than that. It is large, and again, it is meant to be O scale, and I understand it does work on O scale track, so that makes sense. But again, I don't have any O-scale trains, so this is kind of my first experience with it. But yeah, it's awesome. It looks really, really cool. I'm actually really, really happy with this. Unfortunately, you can see again, in addition to the scuffing on the buffer beam, there's a bit of scuffing on the roof straight out of the box, which is not ideal, as well as perhaps misprint on the face. But what's cool about this one is we get 3 other faces. So we get this face, which I really like. We get this face, which looks like he has just taken his meds. It's very intense. I like this one a lot. And there's this one, which is also, I think, fantastic. And they're very fitting for the All Engines Go Thomas. I don't know how to change the faces because I haven't found the instructions in the box yet. But as soon as I work out how to do that, then I will do that. But I think this is also a great default face. And just to clarify, the box says it includes 3 interchangeable faces. But technically it includes 4 because 1 is already fitted. I found that really difficult to understand on the online listings. But rest assured, if you buy this, you should have 3 extra faces plus the one that's fitted. So, yeah. This is cool, in summary. Very, very cool. Very impressed. And I can't wait to see him on the track working. Now we've got Annie. I'm pretty sure this is Annie because I understand Annie has the orange eyes. Great face. Very 3D. I really like it. Well done. Good job, Mattel, on that. We've got the buffers again and the dummy hook and loop coupling. Detailing on the side looks nice. Nothing on the inside, unfortunately. And no removable... Never mind. I lied. I'm a big liar. I was going to say I couldn't get the roof off before and then now it's just come off. So... Removable roof, that's a tick. Nothing on the inside, not so tick. Even just some seats would have been nice because this is a great size. You could very easily, for example, put Lego figures in here or any other number of little kind of figures and carry them around. This is the perfect size for that. So it's a bit disappointing they didn't put some seats in there. But I'm glad the roof comes off because it means you could... I know as a kid, I used to love... I think my Tomy, like Trackmaster Thomas... and Annie and Clarabelle, I think I put like strings inside the windows to make passengers because they were so small. But yeah, as a kid, I think that would be great to be able to do that. So yeah, then we've got the detailing on the back. Yeah, there you go, the roof just clips on again, which is what we'd expect. Again, love the detailing on the wheels. Very, very nice to see. Very basic on the bottom. And again, we've got these fake knuckle couplers there. Clarabelle is the same, but she does have different colored eyes. Otherwise, she is the same, very much like that. I like the detailing on the side. And again, they do have the difference between the swirls, which is the only other difference as far as I understand in All Engines Go. Yeah, otherwise great detailing. Again, roof also comes off, which is fun and funky fresh. Yeah, nothing to complain about here. What I like the most about these is that they scale with Thomas very, very well. So in the show, Annie and Clarabelle are now much larger than Thomas. And in perhaps a surprising turn of events, there you go. You can see we can couple them up like this. You just kind of slot them on top of each other. Thomas is much, much smaller than Annie and Clarabelle, which makes sense, and it's consistent with how they look in the show. So I'm very happy to see that people who've watched my channel for a while know that the Annie and Clarabelle ratio of sizing is really important. It's one of the few flaws with the Bachmann Thomas in my view. Thomas is too small / Annie and Clarabelle too big. This gets that perfect, and it's great to see in the merchandise. Also great to see Annie and Clarabelle, given how little they pop up in the current merchandise line. So this is the engines. We'll take a quick look at the other bits and pieces in the set, and then let's get playing. This is the controller. I understand it just works with this one Thomas, so you can't use it to control more than one engine. I do like the way it's set out, like it's a nice little handle there. I like the detailing on the top. In terms of how it feels, it's probably about the same as the cheapy Hornby controllers, which is not amazing, but it could be worse. It's certainly going to be interesting to test how responsive Thomas is to being twisted around. I know sometimes these toys, even though they have a knob, it's like actually only 3 settings, for example, even though it seems like it would be variable speed control. So we'll see how that's going to work when Thomas is on the track. We've also got these 3 buttons. I'm not 100% sure what each of them do. I understand one of them plays the engine roll call theme, but we'll find that out when we open it up. A little on switch on the back, and then your spot for the batteries and for your information on the back. So that is the controller. Again, I think it's one of those things where a nice controller for a remote control anything can make the difference between making something feel quality and feel cheap. And this certainly doesn't feel like a cheap controller. It's very nicely designed. It feels quite sturdy, but it's not too heavy, so a kid can, run around with it. And also if they throw it at someone, it's not going to hurt too much. But yeah, this certainly seems like there was a little bit of effort put into this, which I certainly very much appreciate. We also get a bunch of other stuff in the set. This is clearly not designed for Thomas. This is, I think, just stuff they include in the other push-along sets as like generic stuff. Nothing wrong with it. There's 2 trees. We've got a little, like a light thing, a signal or a warning sign. We've got one of these poles. We've got 2 crossing signs, one with a boom gate, one without. And it's all sticker detailing that's been pre-applied. And then we also have our little dropper, which is for the smoke feature, which is just water. This is fine. It's worth nothing to me. I wouldn't have been upset if they hadn't included it, but I'm also not upset they have included it because it just adds a little bit of life to the railway. And again, it's the kind of thing we never see these days from Thomas and Friends sets. So it's nice to see them making an appearance, even if it's probably just because Lionel has a bajillion of these sitting in their warehouse. I'll very briefly talk about the track. As a side note, the way this box is set out is really nice. It had like the Thomas and everything in a plastic sleeve, and then a big cardboard box with all the tracks in it with the instructions and these little rubber bands. Again, I feel like this set unboxes like a premium train set. It doesn't feel like cheap and nasty, even though, to be honest, I kind of thought they were. So you can see the track here. It's pretty basic. It's all black with that wood detailing. We get different types of pieces in this. We get some curves. We get some straights. You get some switches, which I'm going to live unbox. Risky, I know, on the camera to do this. There is an expansion pack, or maybe I think 2 expansion packs you can buy to get more tracks for these sets, because I understand they all use the same track. So the Thomas one, Harry Potter, Toy Story, Frozen all use the same one. The Christmas Train, I think they do as well. That's what the points look like. They feel a bit sloppy in my hand, which is to say that they feel a bit soft and not like they're clicking all the way into position, but we'll see if that causes Thomas any issues when he's going around the track. It's nice to get 4 of them, and there's also a crossing piece too that is sitting over there in the box off camera. What I just want to test while we have it all here is just how these go together. These kind of train sets. The track can make or break it, because if kids can't put it together, but also if it falls apart too easily, game over. So you can see it's a little kind of clip system. I'm immediately concerned by the size of these clips. They look very small and breakable, but not too bad. It goes together quite easily, comes apart relatively easily. I don't think this will be the kind of track you'll be able to lift up the whole track and take it with you somewhere. It feels not quite strong enough for that. It doesn't feel quite as strong, for example, as the Trackmaster 2 track, but it's not terrible. I've definitely seen much worse connectors. And again, I really do appreciate how with these sets, the trains actually do run on the track like a real train does. They're not running on it like Trackmaster, where it's essentially driving in like tiny little roads. So that's fun and funky fresh. I will set up the layout so we can see how this looks when it runs. I have now constructed the track, and you'll see that it's quite a big loop. It takes up a lot of space. This is the largest configuration you can make. Well, according to the instructions. I'm sure you could do other things. Confirmed having built this on carpet. Yes, it goes together fine on carpet, but it is not good. If you try and drag it around, it will start disconnecting. And I think I can already see over there a little bit is disconnected. So I'll fix that up before we start running. You can see though, Thomas looks fantastic down here on the track. He is ready to go. I have fitted the batteries. You can see I popped a new face on him. The instructions say nothing about the removable faces at all. I have found though that if you pull forward and down, like down that way towards the bottom of his face, it comes off more easily. And that I think is because the faces are only attached at the top and at the middle, not at the bottom. So that would be my suggestion in terms of how to proceed. Otherwise, let's get Thomas turned on and give him a run. Okay, I've checked all the track. We're going to turn Thomas on. Apparently he'll beep when he's not connected to the remote. Oh yeah, the light does work. Okay, remote is connected. I'm going to try and couple up and in Clarabelle. I don't love these couplings because you have to kind of lift them on. They're a bit annoying and then they want to derail. But anyway, alright. He's on the track. So, let's take a look. What do the different buttons do? Okay, great. A whistle, that makes sense. I'm quite happy about that. Fun little whistle sound. Don't know if it matches his All Engines Go whistle, but that's okay.
All aboard! All right, full steam ahead. That was fantastic. There's no time for delay. All aboard!
Okay, so he has about, 5 sayings there. They all sound like the Thomas from the CGI series, which is something that someone had said in another review. It looks like it's the same here. And then I think that means that this is the... Oh, nope.
Right.
Well... Better not play that because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But it seems like that they're still using the old Thomas sounds. I don't know whether they will update those or not. Interested to know if you buy this later on, if yours is updated. Obviously, I bought mine just after it's come out. Maybe it's the same. But anyway, let's find out. So, I've got the dial here. I've got Thomas here. He's got his little lamp on, which looks great. Let's set him off on his way. Okay, I didn't know he made a chuffing sound, but off he goes. He does seem to respond linearly, which is quite impressive. There he goes in the distance. This is about half speed. So I think I'm almost at full speed now. You can hear the chuff is getting much quicker. And then this is full speed. The knob is turned all the way. So the chuffing stops when I blow the whistle, which is a bit awkward. He also almost sounds a bit like a machine gun when he's running at this speed. Sounds a bit more like chuffing when it's slowed down. It seems to be once you get the knob to about this far, the speed does not change that much, just as a little FYI. Yeah, there you go. Here he goes. Off on his merry way. See if I can stop him. What's the time delay? Okay, that's a weird sound. This is really weird. I have nothing pressed. It's just in the middle. That's the sound it makes, which is perhaps a bit odd. That's him in reverse. I'm just trying to see. Yeah, he does chuff in reverse. He sounds a bit different in reverse, like the motor sounds like it's perhaps working a little bit harder. I low-key don't know if I trust this for a long distance, because I don't know if the couplings are really set up for reverse. Okay, so this seems to be the sound that he makes when he's stationary but on. But interestingly, if you make him play another sound, he stops. So that is potentially going to drive lots of parents mad, and potentially a lot of kids as well. Before we put the smoke in, which yes, I did read how to do, let's switch the points and get him running over the points at speed and just see if he derails, because so far he's running quite well, despite being quite small and having quite large coaches, but let's do a bit of experimentation. Okay, I think I've switched all the points correctly now. Let's see how he goes. Yep, along the crossover, no problem. Seems to make it around those points okay. Let's see. Get any derailments up the top here. Oh, a little bit of jumping, but no one's come off the track yet. I can reconfirm after having to put him back on the track that I really didn't enjoy the experience of trying to couple up Annie and Clarabelle to Thomas. I do not like this coupling system. It is annoying. Anyway, that could just be me. So yeah, Thomas seems to be going around alright. You can see sometimes the chuffing kind of stops and starts a little bit, which makes me think maybe he's struggling a little bit, but he seems to be doing a relatively good job. Given he's only got one powered axle, and although they both have traction tyres, I don't know how well he'd go if you, for example, coupled rolling stock from other sets to him. I feel like maybe he would not do so well, but he seems to be doing perfectly fine now. And again, I think what's great is the ratio in my mind is perfect compared to the show. Like, Thomas is literally tiny, which is a bit ridiculous, but in terms of all engines go, I think is accurate. And you can see that's a great shot right there. Annie and Clarabelle are much, much larger. I also think this is a really good amount of track. Not only are there lots of options, but when you only have a little amount of track, it's very hard to suspend disbelief. Whereas this track section is so large, you know, he can really go off screen, and it's like he's disappeared onto another part of the island of Sodor. So yeah, I'm actually very, very impressed by this. It's playing quite well, notwithstanding some of the weirdness of the features. But now let me try and suss out this steam feature, and I will come back to you. I have managed to get Thomas steaming now. I had to fill up the little water tank, which you do by removing his dome. And then it wasn't working, so then I just kind of tapped it and shook it a little bit, and then suddenly it started working. It is a bit hard to see because it is quite clear, but you can kind of see it there. It seems like it's operated by some kind of heating system, I think, as opposed to like a pump. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's not showing up very well on camera. There you go. You can kind of see it while he's against the black. And again, it's a, you know, not a super, super noticeable effect, but it's definitely nice. I'm not going to complain, that's for sure. And again, it's just it's another feature which you otherwise probably wouldn't see in something, a set, you know, like in your average toy. There you go, you can kind of see the smoke there relatively well. You know, we've got the lights, we've got the sounds, we've got the remote control, we've got forward and reverse. You know, we've got a relatively large amount of track provided and the smoke system. All these things together, I think, just go to show this is a very well-rounded train set. You get quite a lot of different things, which you don't get from any other Thomas & Friends toys in the market at the moment, or even other Thomas & Friends models. You know, like the N-Gauge models don't have sound, they don't even DCC ready as far as I understand it, there's certainly no smoke. You know, there's no real sounds for the Bachmann engines either, they're just DCC, but there certainly aren't, you know, whistle and sound chips available for the Thomas HO scale engines. So, you know, you're really getting quite a bit of bang for your buck. And it is a lot of buck for a toy, but it is, in my view, probably worth it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying watching him just going round and round. I don't know about you. Okay, it's now been about 15 minutes since I filled Thomas up, and you can see he is still steaming, which is great, actually. It's a very good feature, I think. It means that you've got, you know, parents, if they need to fill up the steam thing, are likely only have to do it once in, you know, a play session, which is fantastic. It does make me a little bit worried about storage. I don't want to put him back in a box full of water, so that's why I'm up. It may be that he's just run out now. Let's see. There you go. Perfect ending to the video. I'm just going to jiggle him around and see if he comes back to life. No, it looks like he is done for the smoke. There you go. So you get about 15 minutes of smoke, which is quite impressive. So some final thoughts on this set. This set cost me about $150 from Amazon. I did have to get it from Amazon.com.au, but it was from the American store, so it did come from America. It hasn't landed on Australian shores yet. I know the Thomas, I don't think, ever came to Australia, but I have seen the other sets in this line. The Frozen one, I think is there a Christmas one? I've seen the Toy Story one, so I've certainly seen these sets around. often at Christmas time as like under the tree sets. I think they're very good under the tree style sets, with the sizing and what the track that you get. So hopefully this does come to Australia in a more fulsome sense. But yeah, for 150 Australian dollars, I think it was a very slight discount, perhaps the normal retail price, as much as there is a normal retail price on Amazon. It's about $170. For context, that is less than the Thomas Wooden Railway 2022 Tidner Sheds, which is 200 Australian dollars recommended retail price. And for your money, you're getting so much more stuff. You're getting heaps of track. You're getting this Thomas, the controller, akin Clarabelle, those little random accessories, all the extra faces. To me, it's no doubt, this has to be the best Thomas and Friends All Engines Go piece of merchandise or toy that I have looked at on this channel, or to be frank, that I have seen anywhere. I don't think you can get better bang for your buck for a Thomas All Engines Go toy than this. It has real train functionality, it works on O-gauge track, it has lights, it has sounds, it has smoke, and on top of that, it's a fantastic representation of All Engines Go Thomas, both in terms of the level of detail, in terms of the scaling, and in terms of the way it interacts with akin Clarabelle. And you have a lot of playability as well. You've got forwards and backwards. You have got akin Clarabelle having the ability to open the roofs. And as far as I understand it, these carriages are, and the coupling system are compatible with other engines or other trains in this line, which means if you did have any of those other engines, I understand you can make them work together. There's also the expansion track pack. So if for whatever reason, this is not enough track for you, you can buy more. It's not one of those situations where you're stuck with what you get. There is some expandability available, and I just think this is a fantastic effort. I know some people were upset. I don't think this is a hot take, but the Lionel Thomases generally look terrible. The faces are weird, the scaling was weird, they were not very good, they were repurposes of other molds, they were no good. This is fantastic. This is really good. I would love to see some of the other engines produced in this line. A Percy set, a James set. Probably wouldn't get a James, let's be real. But I could see a Percy, I could see a Diesel, I could see a Kana, I could see a Nia. They're all quite small characters. And I'm telling you right now, I will buy every single one because these are awesome. Like, Thomas is awesome. I love the way he looks. He is just so good looking. I love the swappable face feature. It's just fantastic. Is it perfect? No. Do the whistles probably a little bit too far apart? Yes. Are the faces a little bit difficult to remove? Yes. Is it unfortunate that... Oh! He's starting to... He's starting to talk to me now. I think this is because he's been sitting there off for too long. I'm going to turn you off. Goodbye. Thomas spoiling my conclusion video. The fact that you can't run through the points when they're set against you is perhaps a little bit unfortunate, limiting of play. But for the most part, I think this is a fantastic set. If you are into All Engines Go, if you're into Thomas, if you're into collecting trains, absolutely, I cannot recommend this one enough. I think it is fantastic, and I think as a gift, I think this would make a lot of fun. And it also has, I think, uniquely, a lot of the features that make model railways really exciting. It's got that kind of slightly more realistic style, slightly more realistic couplings, remote control features, forward and reverse, sound, smoke, lights. These are all things that you get in model railways. And I think these are the kind of sets that bridge the gap very well between toys like Trackmaster and Push Along and Wooden Railway into more model like the Bachmann engines. And this is the kind of thing that we need to see in order to bridge that gap. Now, are they ever going to make All Engines Go electric model trains? I don't think that's in the foreseeable future. I don't think that's going to happen. But this certainly is on the way there, because you can, as a kid, you could take this to your parents, your grandparents' house, and put it on their O-scale layout, which in Australia are not so good because we don't have a lot of O-scale, but I understand it's much more popular in other countries, and play with it. And that to me just wins all round. You can see that I'm very gushy about this, and it's quite a long review. I've had a lot to say. I think this is a fantastic set, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. I'm so glad that I could get a copy, and also get a copy so soon. So, as you may be aware, I spent $150 to buy this set, and I can assure you that this video is not going to make back that money that I spent on this probably ever, but if it ever does, it will take several years to do so. So that's why I really appreciate when you all like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. That helps the magic algorithm show this video to more people. It's already in the bin probably because it's too long, but I had a lot to say, and I hope you found this informative and enjoyable, because otherwise that's all we've got time for. This is Extreme Trains.